My thing about home buying is if you're not ready for a weekend project, don't buy a house.
I have a new idea for a closing gift.
Okay.
Toolbox.
Here's a hammer and a screwdriver. So we are going to answer questions on the internet. The question is how to learn about the home buying process. We've been looking to buy a home as our family continues to grow. We are pre-approved for a loan. We've met a realtor and done a couple of showings. I never met in person with our lender. We are approved for FHA loan and I don't know what the interest rates are. I don't know what my down payments are gonna be or whatever costs are gonna be associated out of pocket. The realtor explained the process briefly, but I still don't feel comfortable enough to put down any offers. Is there any resources and recommendations for understanding the process better?
I think I need their email so I can reach out and schedule a buyer consultation.
Buying a home is completely new to a lot of people, and it's not like you going to the gym every week and you eventually figure it out. So I understand when people are confused. I have a lot of first-time home buyers. You have a lot of first-time home buyers. Like, we get it. Sitting down for a buyer's consultation is huge to go through the process. I think on average it probably takes me 45 minutes to an hour to go through the entire thing, and it will help kind of ease clients. So like the questions some things I want to pick apart from here. She said she never met the lender in person. There are very few people in this process you're actually going to meet in person. The realtor, the inspector, that's it.
Yeah.
You're gonna meet the paralegal for the attorney at closing, but you're never gonna meet the attorney. You're never really gonna meet your lender. You're not gonna meet your insurance agent. Like, there's a few people you're never going to meet. You're never gonna meet the appraiser. So a lot of stuff is happening in the background. So I don't think meeting the lender is important. What I think is important is being able to talk to that lender about the loan process is what's important. Having that person a phone call away to say, hey, here's my questions. Like, you should be able to get any question answered. As far as the realtor part, I think this is the hard part I have with real estate is I have a lot of people that reach out to me, say, JP, I'm in this process right now, I'm having an issue. At what point did you realize that this wasn't the right person for you? And what's funny, a lot of people realize it very early on. Hey, we're looking at homes and we don't think they know what they're doing. Find someone else.
Right.
Talk to your friends and family, see if there's a referral. Like, that stuff goes really huge, goes a really long way. You have to know about the process front to back. And I have a lot of clients who don't want to talk about it. It's like, yeah.
I've had a few where like I offer up the Zoom call and they're like, a call is fine. I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna send you the presentation anyways. But I think our team does a really good job of, we practice it a lot too, of our buyer consultation, walking it through, and it's honestly a disservice to the agent because if you do get into a multiple offer situation and the client has no idea what's going on, they get nervous, they start to pull away, they're not all in, and then it kind of backfires on yourself, at least from anyone that I haven't had the opportunity to do a buyer consultation with, and like it's a first meet, they love the property, it's like you gotta move fast, and they definitely sense that they feel out of the loop.
Yep, I've had clients where we didn't get an opportunity to do a buyer's consultation, things started moving fast, and I started thinking, man, I need to slow this down.
Yeah.
I've had times where I've done buyer's consultation the same day after they saw a place that they really liked. Like, let's go sit down before you do anything else, because I realized we skipped a step, and this is gonna get a lot more aggressive the further along we go. I try my best to do looking from finding a lender to putting in an offer. I'll do that portion.
Yeah.
Once we start putting in an offer, it's okay. Under contract to closing. I feel like that's like another part of the process. If I talk about closing now and you haven't even talked to a lender, like, we're so far away.
It's too much information.
It's way too much information.
Yeah.
But so for this person, she asks, actually, is there a recommended course that I should be taking? And
call us.
Call us. I think what sucks is people always think about like, oh, my dad's a realtor, my friend just became a realtor, X, Y, and Z. And there's nothing wrong with using a new realtor, but do they have the support? Are they on a team where they have the ability to ask questions? Are they working with someone that's been in the business for X amount of years? They should be able to have some sort of support system. Every deal's different, and have you done more than one deal? I feel like, I don't know how many I've done so far this year and in the last 4 years, but they all feel very different. The ones that go smooth are great. Those all feel exactly the same. The ones that don't go smooth.
I have one right now that's smooth, and I told my client, I was like, that was one of the easiest, least confrontational attorney reviews I've ever been a part of. It was like, okay, great, done, yep.
I have a client right now, I've asked him how things were going during the process. He's like, It's funny because one of my friends asked me like, how's a realtor, how's things going? Is everything crazy? It's like, no, actually, we're lucky, sir. Like, just keep your mouth shut. Let's just keep it moving. Because there's so many people involved, something will go wrong. And it's our job to kind of bring it all together. Here's a question we got. Am I overthinking the inspection? This person says, the whole process has stressed me out and is clouding my judgment a bit, so I can use some perspective. Got the inspection report today. Here are the big things. Roof, foundation, electrical were all clean, which is great in my opinion, considering the house was built in 1940. The rest, not so sure about. Crawl space was a little bit muddy, needed a vapor area in some places. Inspectors seemed concerned about getting someone to finish that job. There was a sub pump, but it was blocked and it was not plugged. The bathroom inspection report includes loose tiles, grouts, flooring around the toilet is soft. Again, the inspector wasn't concerned, but it did consider it an immediate issue. I know both of these are potentially moisture related. To be clear, the inspector couldn't find any leaks or any obvious water damage. Guess what I'm wondering? Am I making a mountain out of a molehill?
So that's why I like being at inspection, because when something comes up, I'll address it and be like, hey, if this is something you're worried about, we'll get a contractor out here. We'll figure out what the issue is and we'll go from there. Like, I feel like you have to kind of acknowledge the issue, but every house is gonna have something. I can tell you every time I see the caulking in the shower, the garbage disposal drains into the dishwasher, and it's just like every time I'm like, this is every report. I could have told you that before we walked in the door.
Roof, foundation, electrical, good, all clean?
Solid.
I'm solid with that.
Yeah.
There's going to be something. I don't care if it's a brand new house or it's a house from 200 years ago. Something's gonna be wrong with it. The older the home, maybe the trickier it is to fix that problem. It's not so cut and dry because someone's probably fixed it over the years. The newer a home, sometimes a little bit easier to get into things of how they built stuff. Moisture around the toilet is leaking. New wax ring, if you look it up in Home Depot, it's probably $20.
Yeah.
You can YouTube how to put that back on. If there's a real issue, maybe you have to get a handyman out.
I have to note that take your concerns to your agent, not Reddit.
Yeah.
And I think that's bad, reflects bad on the agent, not so much the client, because they're just nervous, right? They're like looking for stuff.
You know what, it's funny, I understand this because I've had this client before.
Yeah, but that's why, like, get them a quote, let them know how much it's gonna be, let them talk to a contractor themselves, and take it from there.
Talk to your agent. If you have any concerns and your agent can't answer these questions, you're probably not working with the right agent, and it's probably too late. But we could find anyone to fix anything. Simple. Like, this needs to be fixed, it's $30,000. Great, they're gonna give you a $30,000 credit? Awesome. I can find somebody to do it for $30,000. I guess we're good. It's, can you find someone to fix it? What's the cost to fix it? Are you okay with that cost?
Yeah.
Leaky toilets, grout work, loose tiles. I am currently building a fence. Okay? You will get handy. My thing about home buying is if you're not ready for a weekend project, don't buy a house. Don't buy a condo. If you're not ready for my faucet might be leaking, hey, what's that spot over there? There's a breeze coming from my window, don't buy a house.
I have a new idea for a closing gift.
Okay.
Toolbox.
Here's a hammer and a screwdriver. Call me. Today's question is, what has made your offer competitive? So first time home buyer here, I feel like a lot of people are offering over asking, waiving contingencies, offering free rent back. What have you done to win a bid? How much are you paying over asking? Are people still paying 20 over? I would love some inputs. Cash is king. Like, people, a seller wants to get the most money for their property. But I feel like not only just getting the money, how easy can you make this process for me? As is a big one. So as is not saying you're waiving inspection. You're still going to do inspection, but you're not going to nickel and dime them through the inspection report. If there's something egregious, like a hole in the wall or the stove doesn't work,
the windows
don't work, yes, we can discuss it then. But it sometimes makes a seller feel a little bit at ease that you're willing to go as is and you won't try to take every check mark for every single thing that needs to get done. As far as like other contingencies, free rent back is great. I don't think that's a situation that every seller needs it. So it's a hard one to use.
Rent back, flexible closing date.
Flexible closing date, fast closing dates. Like, if the way I think rent back can work in every situation is if you were willing to close in 15 days.
Rent it back.
Rent it back for free for the next 30 days. Because most people probably aren't ready to move in 15 days. But that's where a free rent back situation can actually be helpful.
I think having good rapport with the agent is important because they're the ones the sellers never meet you. They're the ones that are the middleman between me, the buyers, the sellers. So you start to be able to read people a little bit better on how serious they are the more you do it. They know who's gonna move forward or whose first-time home buyer might get a little scared from inspection. If it's like a experienced second time, third, whatever buyer.
So basically, things that can make you win an offer is also your agent. This is why it's important to have an agent who's done a lot of deals, not because I've done a lot of deals, I'm number one, I'm top 1%, blah, blah, blah. It's that I have more relationships with people in the business.
Good relationships.
I have hopefully more good relationships. Talk to way more listing agents. I've done more showings. When I walk into a showing, people are like, oh, hey, JP, hey, Megan, haven't seen you, ha, ha, ha.
Yeah.
We ran into each other at showings. Like, you do enough at it that you realize it's a community, and if you don't have a good relationship with listing agents and lenders and inspectors, like, that's gonna make a difference on your offer, like, huge. Also your lender.
But also I think at the showing, how the buyer, I always tell people, I'm like, put your best foot forward if you love this place because there's 10 other people behind us and they're gonna remember if you're nice to them.
At some point, maybe like 1980, it was cool to not show you emotions at showings and you didn't want to talk and don't say anything. That's not the case anymore. You need to walk in that showing if you love that place and put it all out there. Oh my God, I love this place. Because when it comes down to multiple offers, the agent goes like, well, that one person really loved it.
They were like, the other ones that hid their emotions, they were like, I don't know, I didn't really think they liked it that much.
Because if everything's the same offer, price, closing date, and one person said nothing during the showing, and the other person said, amazing, I love it.
Bye.
I'm going with the amazing, I love it person.
Same. Yeah. I've had agents that I've like shown their property for say, like, how was the buyer? Like, did they seem interested? And I'll be like, honestly, they didn't say a word, couldn't gauge.
Your emotions with showings, your agent's relationship with the listing agent. I don't even think we touched on that as much, but your lender's important. And of course, all the contingencies, your attorney. I've had in multiple offers, the listing agent call and ask about each of those people. Who's your inspector? Who's your attorney? How many deals have you done with this attorney? Is this their own attorney?
Do you trust this lender?
Do you trust this lender? How many deals have you done with this lender? All those things are important. I was in a multiple offer situation with a client the other week and we ended up losing it. And I was trying to talk them into like using like our referral partners, like, hey, here's the people we should use. And they went with their own lender. And I was like, hey, here's what might be tough about it is that's a .com lender that every agent knows that the assumption that they're gonna have is that you don't know what you're doing, and I don't know what I'm doing because I'm letting you go use this lender. We went into a multiple offer situation. The very first thing the agent did when he called me, hey JP, what's up with that lender?
Or they already called the lender and say, hey, I already talked to the lender about your down payment.
He's like, can you get them with a different lender? I was like, I tried, this is who they want to use. He's like, okay, and we lost that. If you can't get your client to understand that this might not be the best person, I am setting the stage that I can't get them to understand inspection. I can't get to understand appraisal. I'm setting that stage. So like, this is why using the right people are incredibly important. Even if it's not people I recommend, but people that you have that might be highly recommended.